One Piece chapter 1139 full spoilers are out, and man, they're a treat. More detail of the chapters, of course. Very short chapter, only 13 pages. The chapter title is called Mountain Eater, or in Japanese, Yamagurai. So this is the chapter title. The cover story of the ogre child Yamato's golden harvest surrogate pilgrimage. The two rebels have been captured. Two shadow figures are brought before Who's Who. He's drawing his katana to punish them. It seems they're ulti in page 1 because both figures have horns and look similar to them. So we're seeing the cover story. Who's Who is taking out his fellow Flying Six members, and I'll be honest with you, I'm surprised ulti got caught. Page 1 is one thing, but ulti, I'm gonna be honest with you, ulti's had my respect. Like, I put her on the level of Who's Who, even though I think Who's Who's stronger. So I was surprised. Chapter starts off with Luffy and his group in the Oris Castle. Giant guards didn't know where Loki's key is, so Luffy and the group continue searching, but they can't find anything since the castle is too big. And that's the one thing we have to understand about Elbaf. Everything is bigger than usual. You know how they say Texas, everything's bigger? No. Elbaf is where everything is bigger. Then they discover the throne room, which reminds me of the throne room of the Holy Land Mary Joys, where we saw Imu sitting on that throne. And they enter it. They notice how there's a hole in the ceiling, and they see a huge magic circle on the floor. Luffy says, "What is that?" And Nami said, "It's like a magic circle you see in some books, a certain type of ritual in some countries, those that can summon demons or something." Rhodes says, "Why is something like that in the royal chamber? It's creepy." Luffy says, "I feel like I've seen this like recently." And obviously Luffy has seen it recently on Naked Island. Suddenly a voice called out to them, "Straw Hat Luffy." Luffy says, "Huh? Who was that? The demon?" Nami says, "Demons don't exist. Who is it?" Rhodes said, "Could it be the spirits of the dead?" So we're starting to see that One Piece is exploring the whole demon aspect with this whole circle that we saw on Naked Island. It didn't really get explored, but it was right in front of our face. Now the Straw Hats are exploring the concept of the circle, because this is going to be a big thing when it comes to the final war against Imu. So I like that the Straw Hats are doing this. Of course, Luffy can't remember, but he kind of does remember that it's, of course, Naked Island, the Gorosei. And it's a good hint to what they're dealing with in the Elbaf arc. A huge axe flies at Road, who barely dodges it. And then Luffy and Zoro jump from Road's hand, and Luffy stretches out his arms to grab Nami from falling. After that, Luffy entrusts Nami to Zoro, who picks her up in his arms. The mysterious man from last chapter appears, sitting on the throne. Road says, "Ah, Mr. Ya, why are you here?" A human habitant from Elbaf, former pirate, Yasan is his name title. Now, Yasan says, "I sensed an abnormal haki coming from the castle earlier." The fact this guy's sensing abnormal haki just tell you how powerful he is. And then he says, "It's not here anymore, but instead I found you guys. I have heard the rumors, Straw Hat Luffy. They say you have defeated Kaido." Like, Kaido, the respect of defeating Kaido is giving Luffy so much credit. Then he says, "That makes me want to travel to Wano Kuni again after all these years." Of course, the hat, we always knew this character was from Wano Kuni. And honestly, I love this moment because the axe, of course, abnormal haki, and the whole Kaido Wano Kuni thing. This guy is obviously Scopper Gaban. They didn't confirm it yet, but from these spoilers, like, we all know the only guy who uses the axe of like legitimate like power is Scopper Gaban in the story. The spoilers say Yasan is clearly Scopper Gaban from the Roger Pirates. Yasan has same long hair, wears sunglasses. We already saw in Odin's flashback. But he has now a big long beard with a braid in it. It kind of reminds you of how like the Viking stuff. And a scar in his forehead that has a shape similar to a flame. Of course, mad marked by flames, Scopper Gaban. That would be crazy. I didn't think it would be Scopper Gaban, but if it is, it's hype. He wears a Hawaiian shirt and shorts too. That reminds me of pretty much Crocus. And of course, we're just getting the design of this character. The braid in the beard is a cool little detail to it. But yeah, Scopper Gaban, I like the design so far, honestly. He's a cool design with the sunglasses. He looks like he's laid back on some Master Roshi type stuff. I like this design. Road then explains that Yasan is Ripley's husband and Colin's father. Nami asks, "How's that possible?" Thank you, Nami, for asking the question that we've all been asking as fans. And Yasan comes down from the throne and speaks with them. Yasan says, "Love is freedom. Races have mixed more than just a few times in history, such as the Buccaneers, the Dosundas, the Long Leg, Long Neck tribe, and the Wotans. It's quite difficult for these hybrids folks to survive, but no matter the era, you always have flexible minds." Zoro says, "You seem to know a lot. Who are you?" Zoro very direct with it. Yasan says, "I'm the missionary of love." This guy is pulling a Sanji, and Luffy said, "This must be what Sanji is going to be like when he gets old." Obviously, the parallels, because this guy is the third guy, the Roger Pirate Sanji, third guy. And then Luffy says, anyways, old man, we're looking for the key to Loki's chain. And Rhodes says, you can't just reveal that. And Luffy then says, that doesn't count, forget it. Which is just comedic humor in One Piece, as we always seen. Yasan says, so Loki, I love trouble that are caused by other people. Do you know what type of man Loki is? What would you do if the worst situation happened? This kind of reminds me when Rayleigh asked Luffy, what would he do if he met a man who could see into the future? And Luffy's answer was funny. And Luffy says, I'm going to beat him up and lock the key again. Yasan says, before Red Hair Shanks captured him, no one was able to stop Loki before. You don't even know what kind of power he has or how far reaching could be the damage he can do. Hey, wait. Luffy and Zoro turn around and ignore Yasan, saying his talk is getting too long. Nami says Yasan is trying to warn them and they should pay attention. Road apologizes to Yasan, showing that Road has some respect for Yasan and who he is as a character. Yasan is shocked initially, but he smiles, remembering his time with Roger and Rayleigh. Then we can see a little flashback about the three of them, and I think, wow, this is where I got really happy with the spoilers. Roger says, I am tired of the warnings. You're scared, right? And Rayleigh Gabon says, that's not what we said. Roger said, if you want to stop me, just try it. And Gabon said, we are saying it's important to know the risk. Roger, you idiot. Yasan presents Road, push that throne. So it's pretty cool to see that Gabon is sticking on Roger and Rayleigh still, like, and how Roger used to always argue with Gabon. I like the dynamic of Roger and Scarpa Gabon. It's really cool, it's really fun, and I love it. Cut to the party in the village. Oimoy is talking to Usopp and the others about Yasan. Oimoy says, among Roger Pirates, there are 2 crew members who are exceptionally stronger than the others. Usopp says, there's another one besides Rayleigh? Oimoy says, yes, that person once took Roger for treatment in a hospital in the middle of the mountains. Unfortunately, the hospital was surrounded by enemy pirates, but the man alone defeated 100 of enemies with just 2 axes. After the battle, there was not a single tree left on that mountain, which earns him the nickname Mountain Eater, Yamagurai. Now, if that's not lore, what is? Because the fact that Scarpa got his nickname by being a monster, it kind of reminds me of Zoro on Whiskey Peak, and also the whole fact that Scarpa did all this for Roger makes it even more sweeter. Back to the All Rest Castle, we see in the amazing final double page of the chapter, Road carries Luffy and the others in his hands while he's going down through a secret passage under the throne. The stairs lead to the secret treasure room. Nami's like, whoa, Yasan, I love you, treasure. Luffy says, treasure. Road says, Mr. Ya, why do you know of this place? Yasan says, well, exploration is a hobby of mine, which just automatically reminds me of Nolan. So I thought that was cool and all with the whole lore. The group arrived to the treasure room, but all the treasure in the room are gone and the chests are empty. Only one key remains in the center of the room. Nami says, treasure is just all empty boxes, you liar. Yasan says, now, don't blame it on me. It's an empty castle after all. You expect it to be run through by a few thieves by now. Look at that. Luffy says, the key. Yasan says, yes, it is something even those thieves didn't want. Showing how, yeah, this is definitely some serious business over here. But before Luffy can get to the key, Yasan jumps near it, and then he starts taking off his robe and his casa hat. Yasan, in other words, the liberation of Loki is something even the villains wouldn't desire. Showing that, yes, Loki is legitimately scary to anybody who comes to Elbaf. Like, that's not something that nobody wants to play around with. He must have done some crazy things out at sea. Cut again to the party in the village. Omi and Kashi finish telling the story about the man from Roger Pirates. Omi says the man has been living in Elbaf for 20 years. Straw Hat Crew says, what? Really? Omi and Kashi says he's the legendary figure equal to Roger and Rayleigh. Now, this is going to cause a lot of controversy in the fan, because if this is true, Roger, Rayleigh, and Scarpa Gabon are equal, that is going to be a whole power scaling concept. Now, I just think it's their status, like Goldie Roger, Pirate King, Silver's Ray, Dark King, and the Mountaineer, Scarpa Gabon, are all legendary characters, regardless of them being part of the same crew. It makes sense. The Pirate King crew should have 3 monster notorious characters. If anything, they have 4 if you add in Kozuki Oden, and 5 if you have in Red Air Shanks, and 6 if you add in Buggy. The chapter ends with Yasan / Scarpa Gabon holding the key and ready to face Luffy. Scarpa Gabon says, now, would you be able to take this key? Luffy says, Omikashi said, the left arm of the Pirate King. And Scarpa Gabon says, take it from me if you think you can. Omikashi says, Scarpa Gabon, as the end of the chapter happens. And man, oh man, it was a great end to the chapter. Luffy vs. Scarpa Gabon was teased. We also get the information about a break next week. One Piece will return in Weekly Shonen Jump on, I believe it says, I think issue number 13 on 2025. On the sale February 24th, so a couple days earlier than that. So yeah, we're gonna have a break week, and all in all, Oda deserves it. The chapters he's been putting out in Elbaf, please Oda, take a break, take 2, take 3, take a month break if you have to, because I like these quality of these chapters. It's really fun to read. So now this is the part of the video where I begin to yap. And this is the part of the video where if you only came for spoilers, you probably are going to leave. But I want to get my thoughts on the spoilers. First of all, these spoilers reveal something very, very interesting. The lore of Scott Gabon. The fact that he did what he did for Roger, taking out hundreds of pirates to get Roger to a hospital to cure him, shows the love Scott Gabon has for Roger. And the fact that he's on the same, they say he's equal to Roger, legendary figure, mountain eater, and this man was fighting on God Valley. This man was fighting Kozuki Yoden. Scott Gabon is incredibly powerful. And if this is who Luffy's about to fight, this guy who's sensing abnormal haki, that's the reason why he went to the castle when it comes to Shamrock. And that's the reason he went there. The same abnormal haki that everyone sensed on Agate Island. I think this is going to cause some chaos because how Luffy does against Scott Gabon dictates how strong we look at Silver's Rayleigh. Now, I've always said Silver's Rayleigh is right now not Yonko level. I believe Silver's Rayleigh is Admiral level. I think even Silver's Rayleigh admitted when he said Blackbeard would defeat him now because he's lost his touch. Now, in his prime, I think Silver's Rayleigh was Yonko level. I think the same goes for Scott Gabon. I think Scott Gabon was Yonko level in his prime, making me think he's Admiral level right now in his old age. Now, people think that's a diss. That's not really a diss because Admirals, you saw what Kizaru was doing at Agate Island. Admirals are incredibly powerful. But Luffy, to me personally, is above Admiral level. He's Yonko level. So this interaction with Luffy is going to be interesting. Now, the one thing Scott Gabon has over Luffy, in my opinion, is XP. His XP is just way above Luffy. Luffy's kind of new when it comes to the experience fighting. He's a battle genius, but he's new to fighting in general. So it's going to be cool to see what Scott Gabon can relate Luffy to Roger and teach Luffy that Roger did that he doesn't have yet. Luffy's trying to be Pirate King, so it's good to know that the Pirate King's best friend is going to be along the way helping you. Not just on Rayleigh with 2 years, 1 year and 6 months during the time skip. He's going to be Scott Gabon now. And I'll be honest with you, I wouldn't mind another time skip to go start before the final war begins. That would be cool as a fan. That would be fun to see. Now, of course, it's probably not going to happen because I think Oda-san ended the series, but still, another time skip would be fun. Of course, because look how many time skips happened when Roger was doing his thing, or even back in the days in every flashback stories you hear Kozuki Oden. Things are not done really fast, but one time skip is enough when it comes to the One Piece story. At least it's not happening all in the same year. But yes, Scott Gabon, I am a fan of. And another thing I have to talk about. This is another chapter where Loki gets respect again, and people are sleeping on Loki. Scott Gabon says even the villains didn't want to free up Loki. It took Red Hair Shanks was the only man to defeat Loki. He has a special bounty of 2.6 billion berries. He has future sight. He has a legendary devil fruit. For goodness sake, he probably has Kankasaki coding for all I know. This is the man that Luffy wants to free, and Luffy says he'll beat him up. I'm gonna keep it real. When it comes to the top 5 strongest characters in Elbaf right now, it's a very interesting bunch. For me, Luffy goes number 1. Number 2, I would have to put, honestly, I think with Scott Gabon's statement, you might have to put Loki as number 2, tied with Shamrock. Shamrock has to be up there too as well. I'll put Shamrock at number 2 as well too. 2 or 3 you can interchange with Loki and Shamrock depending on what Oda wants to go with it. And then after Shamrock, you would have to go put Scott Gabon at number 4. And then I'd probably put like Zoro and Sanji at 5 and 6. So that right now is the top strongest characters in the story in Elbaf right now. And I wonder how all these monsters are going to interact with each other. But low-key, people are sleeping on Loki. Scott Gabon is another character just hyped up Loki's power to insane lengths. And he's been locked up the entire time. We haven't seen Loki do anything in the story. He's getting eaten up by Cerberus right now. Yes, he's getting eaten up by Cerberus right now. So yeah, this chapter did 2 things for me. It hyped up Scott Gabon, and when it comes to not just his power, I already knew Scott Gabon is strong. It hyped up his lore, known as the Mountain Eater, what he did for Roger, and saying he's equal to Roger, and they're saying, like, pretty much just saying that he is like just like really a monster in reputation. So it means in his prime he did some amazing things. And secondly, Loki's strong. Loki's strong. Loki's strong. It's Oda keeps putting in our head Loki's strong. And I want Loki on our side against Imu. I do not want Loki on the Celestial Dragon side or an anti-hero. I want him on our side. And I wonder if Useless Kid is enjoying this arc as well. Because Useless Kid joining this arc is a new dynamic. Useless Kid is a Kankasaki he's a Kankasaki user who doesn't have coding yet, but also has an awakened Delta Fruit. And honestly, Big Mom as well. I wonder if these players are going to join as well. Maybe the Marines. I'm not too sure, but I can't wait to see what Oda does with this arc. But these spoilers were just a fun read. Last spoilers were like my mind was exploded. These spoilers were a fun read, and I'm going to try to drop the chapter video as soon as possible, guys. So turn on notifications. And if you don't like these spoiler videos, just debate in the comment section. You don't like LegendMac videos, debate in the comment section.